Hello again. Very welcome to this chapter. In this video, I want to take a little shortcut here and share with you what I have done on the other side of the project. So you remember we created the product mock information, and it is like iPhone 17 or whatever it is. That's one thing. That's one topic we will be discussing over and over, but I like to go and share with you what I have made in the product entity. So we have a setter system also in Fireback, right? And I have created this function like extra file called fake image. It generates an image and it puts it into memory. And then when I'm seeding the images, seeding the products, I'm putting like 5 image, I believe, like one large image, like 800 kilobytes, and then like four 250 something or 200 kilobytes. So overall, like close to 2 megabytes or 1.6 megabytes. And then I'm inserting them via the command called product, and then mock and count and inserting them in the batch. Now, I'm not sure if we tried it before, but when we were mocking the products without the image, it was writing much more faster. It was writing like 4,000 items per second, and that was insanely fast. And now when the image is putting in the database is like a bit slow, like significantly slower. And still, I want to share with you, this is like after 31,000 items created, it's creating like 120 items per second. So if we go and take a look on the 120 multiply by 600, so the system is actually creating like 400,000 per hour with images all inside the database. So we're bypassing like many stuff, and we are basically showing that like in a single product. And this is a lot, like so many like business e-commerce platforms or any system which manages product doesn't have this much product. And we fairly did it very simple. Now the question for me is like, what happens if we have like over 1 million items? So I'm inserting 1 million items. I'm monitoring the file size here, which is by now up to 58 gigabytes, and we already created like 40,000 elements. Now on disk, I think I have maximum of option to go for 200 gigabytes of information in this database, and I see I still have 191 gigabytes left, and I believe that's a good sign that now I have 189. Therefore, yeah, I like to know like how many products are fitting into a database which like is 200 gigabytes, and if we really needed a lot of different like file system sharing and all those things. Though I'm not sure if 200 is 2 megabytes of images is a realistic option. So let's take this one for example. I will inspect the element and see how much it's like fitting in terms of the space it's using. And I like to go to this image. If it's an image, not sure. I think it's a background image, so we have to go towards the application. Service worker manifest, not really. And then we go to let's go to the images, and then go to the actual product itself would be a bit easier. Like I want to know like if 2 megabytes is like realistic or not, and let's go for like large images, which is like 475 image, and this is like yeah, it is what it is. It's 120 kilobytes of transfer. And then also it is like 91, and then the question is why it says like 400, 700, and then we have this one which is 91, 73, 73, and like 32. So I can assume this is more than 3 megabytes of images there, but it's a real question if like 2500 picture is actually needed, like to this level we put inside the like product. I like to go and take this image into a downloads folder, let's say, and then I'm gonna go to tinypng.com and see if it's gonna reduce the size to some extent, and like we will see if that's optimizable at all. And just wait a minute. Yeah, it's like 152 kilobytes. So if it was optimized, then like even with 1 megabytes, the entire product was there, you know, like all the images and all those things. And I believe it could be even further optimized. And I believe TinyPNG is good in terms of not losing much of the quality. And I'm gonna go here, 152, really not lost a little bit, but not much, still perfectly fine for a product website, like you can see even here. I'm not sure if it like zoomed into the original image, how different it would be. The point is 2 megabytes well maintained, or even 1 megabyte well used, is an interesting amount of like file size, you know. So let's go and check this one. We go to the network tab, images only, like refresh the page, and then I have this one, 1 megabyte of image, which I believe if I open tab and like I see it is here. If I download this image, then again go to tinypng, and what can I do? I can go and select the Lego, and it's gonna do some compression on it, and we will see. It's 300 kilobytes now from 2 megabytes, and this kind of shows like actually with compression and with like kind of saying, okay, you can't upload like very giant image and all those things. We can reduce the usage a lot, and this is like a toy. A lot of products are not having this much of an image and details, you know. And one thing is like I like to maybe do an experiment now and see like if we had a bit larger images, what would happen. So we have like 109 gigabytes by now. Let's let this go up to like 100,000 or maybe 80,000, and I will put the 20,000 more of larger images. So then we will put like 20 images and see what happens. Okay, we stopped it. We go to product query. We have 80,000 products by now inside. And one interesting thing I can do is just put like copy paste this thing. Like now this is like 3 times more, like so many more images. And then in order to make it even terrible, I want to use all of these for 500. So now it's much larger image sample. What we're gonna do is build it. I'm gonna run the code in a second to see if that's any interesting. I made this bug that this thing calculates upon running, which is a helpful thing now by itself. So we copied that thing by 70, let's say 72 and multiply by 3 times plus 360 plus 180. This is not perfectly accurate, but it says like 270, and now it's 3 times, let's say now it's all about 8 megabytes of image roughly we are adding into this system if we run the mocks. So I'm gonna run this for another, instead of a million, I'm gonna run this for a 20,000. 20, and let's do it in batch and see like how different it would be in terms of performance. Now it's slowed down significantly, 22 items per second. So like file size matters. Size matters, really. Size matters. And another thing is like it's very unlikely this much of a product are being added at the same time in your system, right? So you need to be aware of them. Some products might have like 2 images, 2 smaller images. And I like to go and we don't want to modify this that much actually, because we got the idea roughly what we are achieving. Obviously there's improvement rooms to it, and I will apply and grow out this course, but just slows down. Like if you're thinking about this, where you have to understand that it slows down significantly. Though I believe if we put the images into a single blob and did that operation kind of like binary, and we manage the where the image starts and ends, which is a little bit more coding, we could have significantly more performance there. Though then we have to also handle like what are the images coming out of that. So I will finish this insertion and then we will continue with the workshop as intended.